I'm hopeful that he'll continue to improve.
And if I can ask a super quick follow-up on that, why wouldn't you, just to see if it does anything to the offense, give him an opportunity to go in there and play?
Yeah, obviously my focus is where we are right now, Mary Kay. That's not my focus.
If you're here, you're here.
Okay.
And coming up high. Good?
Here we go.
Eyes down the field.
Set.
Good, we're reading those seams.
The Cleveland Browns are in the midst of another controversy, and this time it's about Shedeur Sanders. In a shocking turn of events, Browns offensive coordinator Tommy Reese has exposed the lies that head coach Kevin Stefanski has been spreading regarding Shedeur's injury. After the Browns' disappointing loss to the Patriots, Stefanski claimed that Shedeur Sanders was injured and unable to play. But Reese has now provided clear evidence that Stefanski was not telling the truth. Reese was seen giving coordinates to Shedeur after the game, which directly contradicts Stefanski's statement that Sanders was injured. While Reese hasn't directly called out Stefanski, his actions speak louder than words, showing the world that it's actually Stefanski who doesn't want Shedeur Sanders on the field. The drama surrounding the Browns continues to unfold, and it's raising serious questions about Stefanski's leadership and his handling of the team's key players.
You see Myles Garrett walking around with his shirt off? We got to have that ready to roll. You know I'm mic'd up. I hope that makes it. I hope that makes it. Ball's on the right hash. Quick game. Push our timing on this. Ball's out.
Tommy Reese's approach was calm and calculated in the training, not only assisting Shedeur, but also grooming him for a potential shift at the quarterback position. Reese believes that Shedeur's ability to make those dynamic, pinpoint throws, ones he mastered in college, should be the focus, rather than relying on Dillongabriel's ineffective short passes and the failed deep attempts we saw in the game against the Patriots. However, Stefanski seems to have a completely different mindset. It's as if he has a clear aversion to Shedeur Sanders, refusing to even consider him for the role. Almost as though he has a personal issue with him taking the reins. Even after being exposed by his own colleague, Kevin Stefanski stood firm in his assertion that Shedeur Sanders was injured. He maintained that Sanders had shown up to practice on Saturday with an injury, and when given the opportunity to warm up before the game, Stefanski decided Sanders wasn't ready to play. But let's face it, this is just denial at its finest. There's a clear distinction between being truly injured and simply being kept off the field. And what Stefanski is doing seems more about holding Sanders back than addressing any actual injury. It's a weak excuse that no one is buying, and it's only making his situation worse.
What was the thinking behind that and how'd that go?
Yeah, he obviously came in Saturday with his back injury. We were hopeful that he'd be able to move around well enough to suit up on Sunday, but put him through a pregame warm-up, and obviously just didn't feel like he was.
The situation is rapidly gaining attention, with people openly questioning Stefanski's decisions and even suggesting that he doesn't want Shedeur Sanders anywhere near the QB2 spot in Cleveland. Skip Bayless didn't hold back in his criticism of Stefanski, going all in with his analysis. He pointed out that Stefanski allowed Shedeur Sanders to go through practice and warm up before the game, only to inexplicably rule him out, citing an injury. Bayless made it clear that this wasn't about a legitimate injury. It was about Stefanski's preference for Bailey Zappi over Sanders. He even called the entire narrative a lie, stating that the real backup quarterback wasn't Sanders, as the team had claimed, but actually Bailey Zappi.
They announce on game day that Shedeur has a quote-unquote back injury, yet he did go out to warm up. They watched him warm up and they disqualified him because he's got a back injury. I don't trust it for 1 second. Bailey Zappi has I said it 5 times on the show, he's been the unofficial, unstated backup quarterback all along.
The truth is, Tommy Reese isn't just trying to expose Stefanski. He's trying to protect the Browns from imploding in the locker room. When team leaders like Myles Garrett start publicly questioning the coach, it signals something is seriously wrong. Garrett, the star defensive end, made his frustration known during a press conference, delivering a blunt and unfiltered message. He made it clear that he no longer cares about Stefanski's opinions and is fed up with the constant excuses surrounding the quarterback situation. For Garrett, the goal is simple. He wants to win. Despite his impressive individual performance, the team's ongoing offensive struggles are making that goal seem farther and farther out of reach. He's giving everything he has, but it feels like his efforts are being wasted.
I'm frustrated. I want to win. I don't care how much time is on the clock. They got their starters in. There's a chance we can win. I want to be a part of that. I don't care how dire the situation looks. I'm going to try to make something happen. So I hate coming out of those situations. I hate, that kind of inevitability and not being able to do anything about it, because I want to win and I'll do anything.
Myles Garrett's frustration was impossible to hide as he watched the offense continue to falter on the field. On the sidelines, his anger was evident, kicking objects and showing clear signs of losing patience as the team's offensive struggles persisted. When asked about the loss and the offense's role in it, Garrett didn't sugarcoat his response. He pointed out that the same questions had been raised all week, but the situation only seemed to get worse. Though he didn't directly call out anyone, it was obvious his frustration was aimed at both Kevin Stefanski and Dillon Gabriel. The tension is building, and it's not just from the outside. Tommy Reese, while not directly engaging in the blame game, is also feeling the strain. His efforts to bring Shedeur Sanders into the spotlight are a sign that even within the coaching staff, frustration is growing.
How hard is it, how tough is it for you guys to have such a good defense for you to be out there getting 5 sacks and putting the team on your back and just to not have any offense to go with it?
It doesn't get any easier. Each week you ask me, so.
Myles Garrett didn't hesitate to speak his mind about Dillon Gabriel, making it clear that no one is giving him any leeway simply because he's a young quarterback. Garrett stressed that, regardless of a player's age, the expectation remains the same: make plays. In the NFL, there's no room for excuses. He made it clear that once a player joins a team, it's on them to step up and perform, or risk falling short. The focus is entirely on results on the field. And right now, Gabriel's performance isn't meeting those standards.
No team's going to care that we have young guys. Guys around the league, young or old, are expected to make plays. And we had young guys step up and do that. But there's no expectation of you when you come in. There's less expected of you, or more expected of you. The job is to win.
Ocho weighed in on Myles Garrett's frustration, highlighting the rising tension within the team. He noted that despite the growing unrest, Stefanski remained adamant, continuing to choose Dillon Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders. Ocho stressed that when a star player like Garrett publicly calls for changes on offense, it's a clear indication that something is seriously wrong. However, Stefanski appears determined to stick to his plan, insisting on Gabriel as the starting quarterback, even though it's becoming painfully clear that he's not living up to expectations.
You're going to lose the locker room. It just take the right person to say something. A Denzel Ward, a Myles Garrett, your captains, you'd be like, listen, we need to do something. I mean, to see Myles Garrett frustrated like that, the way he was, understanding that offensively, we not getting it done, knowing the change needs to be made. But I think that's a hill that Kevin Stefanski is willing to die on.
Kevin Stefanski is facing growing criticism for sticking with Dillon Gabriel as the starting quarterback, and both Browns fans and insiders are beginning to agree. Gabriel is better suited as a backup. Once defenses figure him out, he falters under pressure, showing he's not the answer for the Browns. The consensus is becoming undeniable. Many believe the only real solution is to give Shedeur Sanders a chance to start. Gabriel is still trying to prove himself, but it's becoming increasingly clear that he's not the right fit. As the season continues to slip away, it's time for the Browns to make a change and give Sanders the opportunity to step in and lead the offense.
Doing his best is what a backup does. This is what backups do.
They play sure about that?
They play for a few games, and then they get figured out, and there wasn't much to figure out with him, and he's been figured out here. So you can expect more of the same if he continues to go out there.
In the midst of this growing controversy, the Cleveland Browns are facing a crossroads that could define their future. Kevin Stefanski's stubborn refusal to give Shedeur Sanders the opportunity to lead the team is causing increasing unrest, both within the locker room and among fans. As the quarterback situation continues to unravel, it's becoming more apparent that Stefanski's decisions are not only impacting the team's performance on the field, but also the atmosphere off it. The tension is palpable, and the locker room is on fire, with key players like Myles Garrett voicing their frustrations, questioning Stefanski's leadership, and demanding changes. While Stefanski's stubbornness seems to be making the situation worse, Tommy Reese appears to be the one pulling things together, trying to steady the ship in a time of crisis. Reese's calm demeanor and strategic moves, particularly his support for Shedeur Sanders, are becoming a beacon of hope in a turbulent situation. While he's not directly challenging Stefanski, Reese's actions speak volumes, showing that he's working to safeguard the team's future and morale. In this environment, the cracks in Stefanski's leadership are becoming too wide to ignore. His refusal to adapt and embrace the obvious solution, giving Sanders a shot, only amplifies the growing doubts surrounding his ability to turn the season around. The players are speaking out, the fans are losing patience, and even his own coaching staff seems to be questioning his decisions. If things don't change soon, it might not just be the quarterback position that needs a shift, but the head coach as well. With Tommy Reese showing signs of leadership, it's clear that the Browns may need a new direction to restore order and make a genuine push for success. What do you think about the current situation with Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns? Do you believe he's making the right call by sticking with Dillon-Gabriel, or is it time to give Shedeur Sanders a chance to lead? How much longer do you think Stefanski can hold on to his position, especially with the growing unrest in the locker room? Do you think Tommy Reese is the right person to step up and steer the team in the right direction? Or is a complete coaching change needed? Share your thoughts. How do you see this situation playing out for the Browns?